Right, Dreadysays, we're doing a roundup of all the boards I've reviewed over the last 2-3 years. Aquaplanet, Sandbanksstyle, Whatsupuk UK, and Becausesup. We're going to look at the boards, price versus quality. You know, is it worth buying the cheaper boards? We're going to talk about the supermarket specials, as I've called them, at the end of this video, so stick around for that. But we're going to start with Becausesup, which is on the sort of higher end, and we're going to see how they all compare. All right, guys, let's check it out. So, like I said, we're starting with Becausesup. Now, I need my notes here because there's a lot of figures and I'll never remember them all. So, and we're going to try and get through it as quickly as possible, so this isn't a 20-minute video like the last one I tried to do on this. So I'm starting again and I'm waffling. My bad. Okay, Becausesup. So we're going to start with the Proline touring board, which is called the Mission. It's the Proline with ASRT, Advanced Side Rail Technology. Got it right first time without looking at my notes, and it's 12'6" long, and it is 559 quid. Now, this board surprised me. All the reviews are down below in links, and you'll find at the end there's cards with my playlist for all the paddle boards. So these are all boards that I've reviewed. Anyway, the Mission, 12'6", almost as rigid as a hardboard. That's my one sentence review. It was insanely stable in the water. It was quick. And the dog is now sighing at me. Yep, you're slowing the video down. I'm slowing the video down. So, yes, great board. ASRT is superb. The paddles are exquisite. And the bags are great. Everything all good. I do like Becausesup. Next up, we have the Carbon Fusion Start. Now, I can't see a Proline version of that at the moment. I don't know if one's in the works. But that was also a superb all-rounder, coming in at 10'8" and 449 quid. Now, they do a version at 399 without a pump, and they do a Shark 12-volt pump, which I'll be reviewing soon, at 129 quid. I'm going to make sure I got all that right. Yep, so that comes in at 528 quid for a board without a pump, but you are buying the 12-volt electric pump, which makes life a lot easier, trust me. The paddles are good on those. They're not as good as the Proline paddles. Check out the review. It is a superb place to start. That wasn't a pun on the name of the board, so my bad there. So there's also the free Proline at 499, 10'8". I've not reviewed that yet. It's got a very interesting shape on the tail. There's a picture of it there just to give you a quick idea. Hopefully getting around to reviewing that early next year. Okay, so, and breathe. Maybe I can do this without even punctuating anything, but then that would be crazy. Whatsupuk UK. Now, this company also do sessions with disabled people, accessibility sessions. They've got a board called the Embrace, which is an absolute monster. It's 14 foot long. It has pontoons. You can put a wheelchair on it, and they do some wonderful stuff with these boards. And we got 5 or 6 of us on it when we were down at the Woolacombe Weekender. And yeah, it is a big board, but we're not going to go into that. We are talking about the hybrid at £600 and 11 foot, and the Pace, which is £700, I believe. There's no price on the website, and that's 12'6". So the hybrid, they claimed it could surf. It was good in the water, generally, lakes, rivers, etc. Good in the chop. I call BS on the wave bit because I've not had too much luck with iSUPs in the surf. So they sent someone down, check out the review with Phil, and it worked. I mean, I can believe it. The rocker isn't crazy, the nose where it kicks up at the front, but it just worked. It caught the waves, it wasn't trying to kill you, and yeah, check out the video for that. So the hybrid is a general, all-rounder, and subsurfable at 11 foot long. Never thought I'd say that. So that is a superb board. And then we move on to the Pace. Now, I've river reviewed it, which you're probably looking at now if I edit it correctly. And I've got my own custom Dreadysays version of this board. Here's a picture of it. And yeah, I'm going to be racing it next year. It is more of a race board. 12'6", so it is in the smaller race category. But it's a great board. The paddles are great. You get a paddle bag, something to put your paddle in. And yeah, all round, another great company. Customer support is on point. You know, they will help you out if you've got more questions. I'm happy to try if you do have questions as well in the comments below. So that is Whatsupuk UK. Now, Sandbanksstyle. Going to have to look at my notes again for this. So what we have is the 3 boards that I reviewed, the Sports Touring from $499 at 12'6" long, the Wave at $419 and it's 9'6" long, and the Splash at $349, 8'6" long. Breathe. Now the touring board was tried by a complete beginner. My friend here, as you can see from the video, never paddleboard before. It was blowing 30 miles an hour. It was a crazy day and he got on with it and he nailed it. It was all good. So that is a great all-round board. Touring board. And it just proves that a complete beginner can use touring. Doesn't necessarily mean it's more difficult. Just means it's a bit longer, a bit quicker, sometimes thinner, sometimes narrower. But he got on with it just fine. It's not as stable, I found, as rigid as the Whatsupuk and the Becausesup, especially the Becausesup Pro line. They're amazing boards, but anyway. But it does work. You are paying a little less, and that does reflect in the general overall feel of the board. Now the Wave, I can pop this down now. The Wave is claimed to be a surfboard, capable board. I got GoPro'd. That's my phrase for using a GoPro and then being surprised when you let down and it crashed and everything went wrong and no data on the memory card. So the video I did for it is very poor in my opinion and doesn't really show it off. It does surf, it does work, but you know, I wasn't blown away with it basically, and I don't mean out to sea. Now the Splash is a very cheap board at $349 and it is designed for kids. I could use it at 74 kilograms as I was back then. But it's not going to be very quick. It would be great for your kids, you know, if you're not going to be using it a lot. You know, it does fit the purpose. And now the dog's snoring, which is probably going to get picked up in post. Anyway, so that's Sandbanks. So you are getting what you pay for. They are a much bigger sort of company. They've got a lot more colours and ranges, etc. They swap the styles out. I've found most years, which is fine. They're evolving their boards like the other companies do. You are paying a little less, but you know they may not last quite as long. Which leads us on to Aquaplanet. These were the first boards I ever tried, the Pace and the Max. And obviously from the early videos, I'm like, yeah, these are great. This is the best thing ever. And then I did the 6 months later review and I don't own them anymore because they both fell apart. Now, this was at the sort of boom of the UK paddleboarding craze nearly 3 years ago now, and maybe they were rushed. They weren't produced very well. You know, I do believe they're produced overseas, mass produced, and quality control just wasn't good enough. $349 for the Pace, $349 for the Max, both 10 foot. I promised not to have to look at that, didn't I? I think it's 10'8". No, 10'6". Both 10'6", and they're fine. 2 different boards, 2 different shapes, which make very little difference. And when I say they're fine, it means, yeah, it's fine if you're going to use it a couple of times and store it very carefully and be very careful with it and be prepared to have to glue it back together. And yeah, it's not fine, is it? Now, a lot of people have disagreed with me. It's the only video that people have excessively downvoted, going, Aquaplanet are the best, these are the best boards I've ever had, the only boards they've probably ever had, because they got lucky or they just don't use them very often, you know, and I don't want to play that lottery with 350 quid. When you can spend another 100, you know, £200 to get something that you absolutely know is going to be spot on, you know, you're taking your own chances with it, and I don't recommend it as per the 6 months later review. Which leads us on to the supermarket paddleboards. The ones I've seen them in Tesco, Sainsbury's. Just don't. They're like bananas in the water. The drop stitching is terrible, and some of them even have valves at both ends, claiming it's more stable because there's No, it's just a bad idea. Just stay away from them. Let's try and keep them out of landfill because they just explode. They're just bad. Now, Lidl or Aldi, one of the two, they recently, Mistral I think it was, I've actually had a go on one. I spotted someone when I was out on location. I was like, oh, let's have a go. I had a go and I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's, you know, it's a bit Aquaplanet-y, you know, that sort of quality. But I do believe they're German made. I could be totally wrong here. And, you know, they probably are better than some of the mass-produced boards from the likes of Aquaplanet. Whew. So, that's it. I may do a sort of postscript of this in the comments if you just wanted to read through it. And that's my take. You do get what you pay for, as with everything. And although my reviews may look biased, especially with Whatsupuk UK, because I have a custom version of one of their boards, no, they're absolutely not. If they were rubbish, I'd say so. I've just been lucky and been sent a lot of quality boards, excluding the Aquaplanet, which I had to pay for. So, yeah, that's it from me. There will be more reviews coming up as the boards come in, but as we head towards the bleak winter of the UK, makes me sad, we're going to be looking at more tech-related things and paddleboard tech, cameras, that sort of thing. But yeah, okay, that's it from me. You take care. I'll catch you for the next one.